everyone, and welcome back again to the 80s Movie Den. So for this episode, I wanted to talk about two more awesome albums that I have in my album collection. 80s albums. These are pop culture icons. You will know them right away. Household names, a lot of singles, a lot of videos they produced. Their songs were on a rotation for a long time. They're still heard to this day. And excuse me, we'll get right into it. We have, this is just an awesome album. When I saw it, I definitely needed to pick it up. And this is Huey Lewis and the News, Sports. This is a classic 80s album. It had 9 tracks on it, 5 singles out of the 9. Great album cover, great artwork, just hanging out at the bar, shooting some pool, playing darts, watching some football, and having a few fresh cocktails. But yeah, some brief information on this album. It was released in September of 1983, and by June 30th of 1984, it had reached number 1. It charted for 160 plus weeks. You put that into perspective. So for over 3 years, this album charted. They made a lot of money off of this album and were able to tour off of it. 7 times platinum. A couple of their songs were nominated for Grammys. What else? 4 top 10 hits. The song list here is The Heart of Rock and Roll, Heart and Soul, Bad is Bad, I Want a New Drug, Walking on a Thin Line, Finally Found a Home, If This Is It, You Crack Me Up, and Honky Tonk Blues. So yeah, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The exposure to this music was from my parents, my mom in particular. Watching videos on cable TV in the 80s was a massive thing, of course, with MTV. Here in Canada, we had, I don't think we could get MTV right away. I'm not 100% sure because I don't remember watching MTV as a kid. But we had the equivalent of MTV. It was based out of Toronto and it was called Much Music. I don't know how much longer after MTV Much Music came out, but it was very much like an MTV. It was an MTV style delivery. But there were a lot of videos playing on my television as a kid. Like I said, my mom, huge music and movie person, and I was exposed to a lot of this music, either from watching videos on TV or listening to my mom's record collection. And I remember watching the videos as a youngster for this album. I Want a New Drug. I remember those videos. They're very clear to me. Of course, as I got older, I continued watching them. My mom would tape them off of television, and then she had a couple of VHS tapes full of videos. Like, we're talking 2 hours, 3 hours worth of music. I would just pop the tape in and just listen to it. And it was just an awesome mix of music. And there were a lot of songs from this album. Highly entertaining album. I haven't listened to it for quite a while, but I will put it in. But yeah, classic 80s. And then, of course, 2 very talented artists. Rumors that they didn't always get along. I'm not sure how true that is. But these guys, again, 80s rock and roll, pop, soul. They played all kinds of music. But Daryl Hall and John Oates. This is it's called Rock and Soul Part 1. So it's a Part 1 Greatest Hits album. Sarah Smile, She's Gone, Rich Girl, Kiss on My List, You Make My Dreams, Private Eyes, I Can't Go For That, Man Eater, One on One, Wait For Me, and a couple of newer songs. This was recorded in September of '83. That list of music, that list of songs is just so well known. Again, brief history on these guys. They formed in Philadelphia in 1970. And from the mid-70s right up until the late 80s and early 90s, they put out hit after hit after hit. And they were very relevant in that 20-year period. Talk about longevity. They wrote most of their own songs. Uh, they cracked the top 40 with, they had 33 singles. 29 of them cracked the top 40, and reaching the Hot 100 between 74 and 91. Six of their songs made it to number one. Rich Girl, Kiss on My List, Private Eyes, I Can't Go For That, Man Eater, and Out of Touch. Out of Touch is one of my favorite Hall & Oates songs for sure. 7 times platinum, 6 times gold, 2003 Songwriters Hall of Fame. I mean, accolades, accolades, accolades. These guys, I believe they're still performing to this day. I don't know for sure, but at least until recently, they've been on the road and performing and working, and just talented artists, talented musicians. I really appreciated the fact that when I was doing my research, that they wrote most of their own songs. I really respect that. And yeah, I mean, you put one of their albums in and you don't need to skip over songs. They're all good, awesome songs. Daryl Hall and John Oates, 80s staples. They started in the mid-70s to catch on in popularity, but right through the 80s. Yeah, great music. Both of these albums, again, great reminders of talented musicians that came through the 1980s. Again, music in the 80s. I said it in my last video, I believe. You could do a channel on 80s music alone. I mean, this stuff is incredible. And it's just high quality stuff. Good music, great artists, great bands. And yeah, that'll do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. 2 more awesome albums from the 1980s. Stay tuned. I will do in the future. I've got some more 80s albums that I'd like to feature. We've been doing a lot of, more pop rock oriented stuff. We will get into some rock and some heavier music from the 1980s as well. But yeah, just, yeah, it's awesome going down memory lane with music as well of the 1980s. So I hope you enjoy the episodes. Leave me any comments below. Give me some feedback on some artists that you enjoyed listening to in the 80s. And that'll do it for this episode. This has been the 80s Movie Den, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.